All right. Let's go, John, BJ to start off. Or Ron, sorry, Ron, BJ.
Coach, you guys have been through so much tough things this season. I mean, you guys come in here, you guys get a win over a top 10 program of your rival. What is this moment like right now? What's the feeling right now?
Just happy for the coaches and the players, for being persistent and being real with each other and figuring out some things that obviously we got to do a better job of and going and doing it and staying together. We obviously got a lot more to keep growing on and correcting on, but right now we're going to enjoy the fact that we kept perspective and we worked harder than we have each and every day this week than we have all season. And the guys are finally starting to understand that to be our best for 4 quarters each weekend, it takes working hard every single day. And they did that this week, and they took it upon themselves. And so we got to continue to build on that.
You've been through this as a player. I mean, what can a win like this do for this team?
It's a huge win. I mean, obviously the record's a big deal. Playing a team like this and, being able to do what we did today on the road in their stadium, and they got an unbelievable team and coaching staff and all that. But this is just part of reestablishing the foundation, reestablishing what Boise State has always been about, and that's about hard work, diligence, and taking care of each other. And this just shows what happens if we can do that consistently, and we can rebuild that into our foundation, that what we're capable of.
And the running game looked as good as it has, maybe better than it has all season. I mean, what do you attribute that to?
I think it looked as best as it has all season. There's no question about that. The guys working hard, not getting down on themselves, having confidence and working together. And again, we found some things that we can do well and that fit who we are. And so we just got to keep building on those. And the O-line and the running backs and the tight ends did a tremendous job today in the run game. We're so proud of them. We got to keep growing. We can't stop. We know that. But we're going to celebrate the things that we did well today.
Thanks, Coach.
Andy, what can you say about your defense? 4 turnovers. I know one was on special teams, but you're playing without both your starting corners. You lose JL in the second quarter due to targeting. You got some guys in there that haven't played a ton this season, and you guys do what you did defensively in this game.
The corners stepped up. That was unbelievable. And that's how the team prepared all week. And we knew we were going to be missing some guys going into it. And then Damon Cole goes down there early on in the game, and he steps up and balls. Samaj, jumped in there and got a rep. He's been a safety that we've been working a little bit at corner, and he jumped in there for a few plays today. But he did an unbelievable job. Those wide receivers, I mean, they've been getting after a lot of people they've been playing with their length, their speed, and their ability to go up and get the ball. And then just how persistent we were. We obviously early on there, the first couple drives, they had some success, but it was just about getting settled in and not getting rattled. And that's the difference. When you come into games like this, you got to get settled in. It's going to be a little bit faster than it was at practice. And the guys, they stayed calm after the first couple drives. And I don't believe, we gave up points there for the next couple quarters. And that was awesome to see how they responded. And, they did a much better job against the run game.
How important were those 2 fumble recoveries there, one on defense and then one right after you scored on the kickoff? 2 short fields, you scored 2 touchdowns there. I mean, that obviously was a big swing in the game.
And then the stop on down, the 4th down stop too, right? I mean, those are huge momentums. We talk about it all the time, the middle 8, we finally did a really good job on both sides. And it was a whole team effort. We sit here and we talk about the defense, offense, and everybody, or why we didn't do well in the middle 8. Well, because it's a team effort, and that's what it was today. We got to continue to build off of that.
And then obviously, Andy, they scored. They got it to within 6. The place was rocking again there midway in the 4th quarter. For you guys to put together maybe your best drive of the season offensively when you needed it there, 9 plays, 71 yards, you get down, make the field goal, and go up by 2 scores. We've talked so much about the second halves and all that. How big was that drive there to put the game away?
That put the game away. You said it. I mean, that's how big it was. It was the final blow, and there were some big time plays on that drive now. And not only within running the ball and again, making the defense fit those run plays physically and wearing them out at the line of scrimmage and then taking some shots there. You know, Hank did a good job giving the wide receivers an opportunity to go up and compete for it.
Let's go Rachel and then Jay.
I've got two barking Great Danes in the background. I apologize. Alex Tubner is a guy we didn't see too much of this season. And then tonight, or I guess this afternoon, he gets a fumble recovery and a forced fumble. What did you think of his performance coming in, on kind of such late notice to help you guys out?
Yeah, that's Tubes. He's always around the ball. He's one of our best special teams players. And he got his opportunity tonight when JL got taken out of the game. And there was when JL is a great player and it makes a ton of plays and all that stuff, but the team has faith in Tubes. And when he jumped in there, the team started going crazy. And JL gave him his support, and JL did an unbelievable job leading on the sideline, when he wasn't in the game. It was a team effort. And not only did the corners step up, we had couple freshmen play on the D line for the first time, and it was awesome to see those guys jump in there.
What's up, Andy?
What up, Jay?
Hey, Andy, last week we talked a lot about the 2001 season, and it was more to do with the record than what happened in the middle of that season. But you a couple of times said that great things happened following that 2-3 start. In that year, you guys went on the road and knocked off a top 10 Fresno State team. Today, you knock off a top 10 BYU team. Did you see that similarity, that opportunity that was around the corner? And do you see any correlation between these seasons now in a positive way?
Well, I'm not going to try to predict the future, Jay, but what I am going to tell you is this, okay, is that if we work the way we did this week and we commit ourselves to doing the things it takes to play like that for 4 quarters, then we have a really good team. And I think the guys understand that now. They have a better understanding what it takes to be able to play like this and perform like this. And to be honest with you, to get that taste in your mouth of what it feels like to earn something like this, that's what I remember back from 2001 early on there as a young player and what we did from there. And that's where we, started to establish the foundation of what this program is. And we've got to get back to that. Being in the underdog role today was awesome. We're going to keep that mentality regardless. We're going to keep that underdog mentality. We got a lot to work for. We got a lot to improve on. We got a lot to show week in and week out.
On that note, you guys said that they came in pissed off this week, and they referenced that photo that BYU took on the Blue last year. What is it like not to just get a top 10 road win, but to do it against a team where your guys clearly felt some passion playing against them today?
Yeah, they worked for it. They weren't going to leave here without it, Jay. They weren't going to leave here without it today. We came down here and, it was earned during the week. I'm just going to leave it at that. And they know that. I can't go into everything that we did this week and not just on the field, but meetings and how they prepared to go into meetings and how they decided that they were, we're going to do things different. And it wasn't just the coaches leading, the players led it, and they held each other accountable. And that's what happens when you do things like that.
One more for me, Andy. What went into, your guys' offensive approach today? We've heard in the past, you guys wanted to push tempo and stuff. And today it definitely seemed like you did slow that down quite a bit. There was obviously an asserted effort to run the ball today. So what all went into that game plan and your guys' ability to kind of shrink the game and keep BYU's offense on the sideline?
Well, I want to give you all the answers without giving too much away, Jay. When the season's over, we can all sit down, okay? We can put some markers on the table and we can go draw it up and talk a lot about this, but we can't give up too much now. But here's the bottom line. They play a lot of max drop coverages and a lot of defenses that were going to take away a lot of the routes, and cover up some of our speed on the perimeter. So we had to take the fight to the trenches, and we need to continue to do that. We need to continue to be able to mix up the tempos. Being able to mix up the tempos and push the tempo on the defense is very difficult. It wears them out. But also we got to be able to mix up the tempos and slow down, take a look at what defenses are in, get ourselves in better place. And that helps the whole team all together, because that's part of, managing the clock and again, playing balanced football.
Andy, congratulations, man.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, Ron, I got time for one follow-up, so go ahead.
Andy, we saw Cyrus Bibilikio had a huge game, especially in the first half. What'd you see out of him out there today, and what can you tell us about what happened to him in the second half?
Yeah, so he got banged up. We'll see where he's at, going into next week. We'll evaluate that moving forward. But he obviously could not come out, there in the second half and play. He did a tremendous job, running the ball and really piercing the defense and getting those hard earned yards. It's 3-4 yards, but that's a big deal. Those yards, those runs turn into 9-10 yard runs, when we're persistent with it. And obviously that's a big deal. Stetsy and the O-line and OJ, those guys did an unbelievable job. Will's coming along as a center. We did have one snap issue today, but that was not on the center. So I'm going to say that right now, we get that out of the way. Okay. But, how about Uzo? How about Uzo stepping up and jumping in there and playing, against some of these elite players that they got, whether they're standing up or they had their hand on the ground today, because that's a good defense. It's got some pretty good players. So, Cyrus had a bunch of help up front as well as the other backs, and we got to continue to build on that. It's the mentality. We got to be able to play with that.
Thanks, man.
Andy, appreciate the time. Congrats and safe travels home.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Andy.